Ready when you
Audio, and we're on the screen.
Excellent.
So, hey y'all.
No.
We're back. Sirmina, Cam, me, and the air conditioner across the street to update you guys on what's been popping with the VPP in August. It's August 29th, hard to believe, but September is, I don't know, a couple days away. How many days are in August?
31.
Alright, so September's like 3 days away. And Starbucks has the pumpkin spice lattes out. And here
they came out this week.
here at the VPP, fall has a different kind of throwback, which we'll talk about at the end. So, but yeah, so let's get into it. We had 2 games finished up this past week-ish. Sword and Shield.
Yeah, we finished on the same day.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, right, because I did it. I did the morning stream, and you had the evening stream.
Mm-hmm.
Which was Tuesday? Was that Tuesday?
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I had a busy morning, but not so busy. So, the tail.
Yes.
Cam, what did you think, especially coming back to Shield the second time? What did you think of the end?
When you say the end, do you mean like the plot, or do you mean
Yeah,
the way
I mean,
the game goes?
Well,
like,
kind of mostly the plot, because I think last time we had kind of talked through like, I think we did the last couple gyms.
We had just beat Raihan.
Yeah. So we had, I think, chatted about like the differences in Sword and Shield and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool because there's like, you know, version differences and things like that, even as big as at the gym level, which was neat. But we're kind of past all that, and we got into like the plot bit at the end.
Yeah, I thought the plot was fine.
Yeah.
Overall, like Chairman Rose, like, yes, noble cause, but like poor implementation.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't as climactic, I feel like, as other plot lines ending. Because I feel like during the final battle with Eternatus, I didn't do much. It was really all Zacian and Zamazenta.
Same here. Well, until I knocked out Zacian. And then...
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
I think Zacian got the last hit on Eternatus for me. I was like, oh, well, the game let me?
We just got Behemoth Blade.
Yeah.
It's a great move.
I don't feel like the plot felt rushed, really, at the end. I thought that it was, like, paced well enough. There were a few parts where I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this bit of the plot line, where it's like, you have to run around chasing the guy for the key card.
I think there are a lot of details of it that are weird. Here's what I mean by that. You're, like, at a certain point in the story, you kind of know Rose is the bad guy. Right? Like, that gets fairly well established, I think, when he has that secret meeting with Leon where he's talking about, like, the future of the region and stuff. And you're like, okay, this is the megalomaniac, like, we've seen this before. You know?
But that's also, like, within the last 2 hours of the game.
It is. But I think at that point, like, before you actually see the Darkest Day stuff, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever he's about to do, it's bad. And then, of course, Leon doesn't show up for dinner, which is, you know, horrible. Even though it's been, you know, they keep reminding us that he gets lost literally all the time. Hop is like, he would never not show up. I'm like, he probably got lost.
It's too bad they didn't have, like, a cell phone anything to like text.
Right.
So
Because
silly.
Rotom phones don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, come on. Come on, guys.
But what I found confusing was like, thank you. We know Rose is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. But they do this like shuffle business with Oleana, and then like back to Rose, and then also like Rose is actually working with like this organization Macrocosmos, and Macrocosmos like has their own employees, and like they sell insurance, and they're doing a lot of threads all at once.
Yeah.
Like a lot changes very quickly at the end of the game, which I found a little sort of like. I think you're right. Like the story's pretty good. You know, we find out who the bad guy is, and it's this guy, and he's trying to like start things in motion that strongly resemble a historical event from many years ago, and that part of it is like very tight and good. But then there's all these like little details like. There's also things like you don't see Leon the entire time, and I think it's actually just Chairman Rose tells you like, oh yeah, the champion came and I had to like recruit him and helping me stop Eternatus and he passed out. You're like, okay, why does it feel like the game is like recognizing that it has weird story points and like creating elaborate lies to cover them up?
Well, you do get to see Leon throw the Pokeball that explodes.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Okay, I
it.
forgot about that part.
Fails.
But later, like, Rose tells you that he was, like, knocked out or something. It felt a little weird. Like, there's a lot of... It felt a little, like, jittery. Like, you know, they have the central thrust of it there, but a lot of the, like, moving pieces are just a little out of sync. That said, Eternatus was cool.
Eternatus was cool.
He has traffic cones in his fingers. Did anyone else see that?
Only because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Traffic cones or bugles?
His traffic cones.
I think they're actually
bugle
traffic
cones.
cones. Like, like I'm pretty sure the model inside the finger is an actual traffic cone that they just jammed in there. Yeah.
It was interesting that it was like a different, like it was the style of a raid,
Yes.
but still like a battle.
Technically,
I don't know.
he's Eternamaxed.
Eternamaxed.
Yeah, that is
Eternamax.
that is the actual Eternamax form of Eternatus. So that's why you also like never encounter that form again, because Dynamaxing doesn't produce that.
Got it.
Which is also a little bit hand wavy and like, you know. But
Oh yes.
they love their forms, right? You know, at the end of the game, the big bad will go through like 8 different altered forms and hashtag what's his name from Ultrasun. Ugh.
Multiple different
Lusamine?
No,
Or
no, yes, Lucamine's transformation into her ultimate form.
Yes.
More hair.
Yeah. My bad. I thought you said just Sun, not Ultra Sun.
Necrozma is in Ultrasun. You fight in 3 different forms. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that in Sun
Well,
or Moon, right?
but I
Yeah.
believe Sirmina will have to fight him in this Ultramoon.
Literally the worst
Alternate
character.
timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that in terms of gameplay wise, for Sword and Shield, like, what was Victory Road, really?
I think it's that little, like, blizzard path up to Winden.
That's it.
That's it,
Where it was-
right? Because at that point, you're at the Pokemon League.
Yeah, because I thought that it was cool how they did the semifinals leading up to, like, with the brackets.
Yes, that was
Like, that
interesting.
was cool. So the E4 was what? Bede, and then Nessa, one of the gym leaders, either B or Alistair.
Yeah, I had Bay. Did you say B or Bea?
B.
Bea.
B-E-A. B.
B.
Oh. I've been
short
saying
for
Bea.
Beatrice. B.
I work with a Bea, so that's...
Oh.
I've done a B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I fought Nessa first, then B, and then Raihan is my...
Third. It's the
Always.
fourth, because Bede...
Right, because Bede
is the first of
is
the
the
E4.
first. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
And
so
then
that is an
you
actual
fight beyond it.
E4. Although,
Yeah.
your Pokemon get automatically restored after each of those.
Your Pokemon, right, but
Which
your
is...
Pokemon get automatically restored after all of the battles. That's part of the point that I'm trying to make, is that, like, it was cool how they did it, but it was really easy. I never once feared that I was going to lose.
It's a lot of stress off. Like, it's a lot of... I don't know, all that stuff that we would always do, like, you know, going into the Pokemon League, we're like, alright, time to buy a bunch of max potions, like,
Yeah.
revives here, get your revives here, like, none of that.
I go level up on Victory Road for like an hour before I even feel
Yeah.
like confident to take on the E4.
I
was
think...
like, let's just roll. I feel like any team that you pick probably would have been able to go through the whole thing.
At some
Probably.
point, I had bought, like, 20 max potions,
Yeah.
and I just had those still, so I just went through with that.
Yeah.
Part of it is, like, you know, there is no E4 in the sense that, like, the other Pokemon games announce to you, like, this is the Elite Four. Like, these are the really good trainers. Like, there are entire rooms dedicated to these people that can clearly serve no other purpose. And
But
this
in
one,
this stadium,
yeah. Well, in this one, it's like, oh, you're just, like, doing another semifinal. I do see your point about Bede, though. That's a nice way to disguise it, because it does give you 4 battles with only 8 trainers there.
yeah.
Because otherwise they would have to, like, add new people. God, I hope that wasn't why they, like, included Bede as a character.
No, I think it was to probably foreshadow the chairman.
Yeah, maybe?
Because the whole time, Bede's been like, I'm getting wishing stars for the chairman so that he can use them.
Yeah, you're
And
right,
then-
you're right.
And then the chairman's like, this isn't the way.
When I was
And,
first
like,
playing Sword, I definitely thought that finding wishing stars was going to be a much more important component of the game.
And maybe one.
Yeah. Also, I appreciated that this is the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Overall, like, I really liked Shield.
mhm.
I still really do, and I think that, like, I'll definitely continue to play it. But in terms of just, like, difficulty level versus previous games, I feel like the games have been getting easier. Like,
Yeah.
doing the one Pokemon challenge for Sun made it a lot harder, but I feel like if I had a team of 6 for Sun, I would have rolled through the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was
Not restarted.
relatively easy until the very end.
The
Yeah.
Ultras do punch a little more, but I think that's generally true.
I'm finding about that.
Yeah. They turn a couple things up.
They realized, right? Yeah, and then, like, the X share was introduced in Gen 6 for Kalos. X and Y.
You mean the X
The
ball?
team X share, yeah.
I think it's the X
Yeah.
ball.
It's all. But, like, when that got introduced, it's fantastic,
Yeah.
but it totally takes the stress out of having to level up.
I know. I mean, you and I were talking about this last night, Cam.
Yeah,
The plight of next month, we have to go back
Yeah.
into a
going
game
back.
where you have to actually be mindful
Yeah.
of which Pokemon you have out and
What
who
moves
needs
that you
X
have.
points and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because, like, going through Shield, I would be doing, like, the raids along the way. Like, ooh, I just picked up Surf, or,
Right.
ooh, I just got Electro Ball. I'm gonna put that on and like just try it out. It was like a lot less thought needed to go into it because you could always get them again.
Well, we're like, oh, let me just go back to the move rememberer. Does he need a heart scale? No.
No.
Oh, he doesn't need a heart scale. That's right.
Yeah,
You just
go and
go.
I want to pick this move from the list, and it has all of the moves on it that like it would have learned at level 1 too.
Yeah.
So shields, sword and shield definitely scaled back on the difficulty in place of increasing, I guess, visual quality and overall like gameplay smoothness. Like they really, it's a step up from like Sun, Ultra Sun.
So
I think that one of the strongest features of Sword and Shield are the characters. And I think they use the graphics really well to support that, because you have a lot of like, you can see people's emotions and like what they're thinking and stuff. So they had like,
Usually.
I still don't love Hop as a character, but I give his storyline some credit. Like, you almost always have a rival who's just like, either smell you later or like just generally sort of, oh, I'm so good, or like weirdly in love with you in Gen 6.
Oh, they have a tragic backstory, like in Black 2, White 2.
Yeah, I maybe we can say Gen 5 is like the one exception to that, because that's one where they, I think, tried to make their rivals a little more.
Bianca and Charon?
Oh, no, that's Black and White, but I'm talking about Hugh in Black 2, White 2, where he's fighting to get his sister's purloin back.
Oh, right.
And that whole debacle, and then it comes back, and it's like, oh, well, we evolved her into a leopard, and now what are you gonna do? It doesn't seem like she's gonna listen to you.
Honestly, for all the crap I gave Bianca and Charon and the funny voices I did for them, like, they were actually pretty interesting characters in the rival role. And like that, the narrative put a lot more on them than, I mean, like, think about Gary in Pokemon Red. Like, he's just like, I'm the best at Pokemon. Nah.
It'll be
My
interesting.
grandpa's the professor. Fuck
I
that guy.
have Alakazam. Look at me.
Look.
Don't bring up the Alex.
Alakazam. Can't wait for Fire Red Leaf Green when we get to see the Alakazam again.
God.
I'm so excited to go back through now and like now knowing the storyline, now seeing where all of the games go and like being able to compare
Yeah.
where they have landed. At this point.
I'm also really looking forward to getting a remade Gen 1 to kick my shit in, because I played some Let's Go Eevee last month, and like, everything about Gen 1, well, you know what, I'll just wait till next month.
Next week.
But
Next update, yeah.
I am anticipating a significantly higher degree of frustration with a lot of mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fire Red Leaf Green are Gen 3 in their release.
Yeah.
So they were released right after Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. So I would anticipate that they beefed up the red, blue, yellow mechanics to have
They definitely
parallel
did.
with
But
Fire Red.
I will say, playing through Let's Go Eevee, even on the Switch, with a whole bunch of new affordances and like things made easier and no HMs and blah blah blah,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
there are still some features of the game that are just a pain in the ass, like caves. Caves.
They did away with all of Flash caves. That was
Yep.
nice. And HMs.
Mm.
That's been so nice.
Yep.
We have to go back.
HMs. I mean, when did HMs make their exit?
7?
I
Did
think
you guys?
I think we had them in 6.
I thought you
Nope.
got to ride animals, Pokemon.
Yeah, we did, but that hadn't replaced HMs yet.
Yeah, there's like one or two very particular Pokemon that we were allowed to ride for very particular.
You could ride like Rhydon and
Piloswine, Mamoswine.
yes, right.
Yeah.
Because you had to go like something with Obama Snow, and he would get Mamoswine out from the cave, and then you could ride Mamoswine.
Yeah, he's cute.
No, they totally hadn't figured out why riding Pokemon was going to be fun in Gen 6. And then Gen 7 came along, and they were like, oh, we can get rid of HMs, that's dope.
He figured out a really good way to get rid of HMs by having those red Pokemon. It was great.
Yeah, so we're going to be going, like, fully back into HM zone. I think in Fire Red, I'm pretty split, right? Damage?
What physical and special?
Yeah.
It's Gen 3, so it's still going to be by type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cam, you'll be having a fun time, though.
Yeah.
You'll have
Heart Gold.
Heart Gold.
Which I'll talk more about later. But, Peter, do you have anything else for Sword and Shield?
Not really, but maybe we should hear about Ultramoon.
Yeah.
I have one big question for you guys before we dive into Ultraman, though.
Have at it.
And now that you have played through Gens 1 through 8, I know Cammy didn't really get to play Gen 6, which actually is now your favorite of the games, and which is your favorite storyline, and which is your favorite antagonist?
Ah!
I think I can answer this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah? For which?
I'm taking them as one game. As, like, the continuation of, 2 years later? And just, like, 2 or 3, yeah. But just the whole storyline of, like, it's the first time that you see the gym leaders actually, like, doing things outside of the gym. It feels a lot more, like, world-building-wise. And N is such an interesting character, just overall. Especially with, like, Team Plasma's, like, overall goal. Because they think that they know, and this is a very, like, thing, too, for, like, Platinum, for, like, Gen 4 stuff. Like, Getsus totally has a different plan than everyone else thinks. But, like, you kind of get at that, and, like, Plasma doesn't seem to be, like, violent in their takeover at all, for a lot of it. They kind of just, like, Getsus uses his words a lot. It's just the underlings that are very, like, aggressive about it. And, like, N just wants to meet people. So I think that overall it's, like, if we're also going by N being your actual kind of, like... Is he more of a rival, really, than Bianca and
N?
Yeah. I know that he's the champion that, like, appears throughout the whole game, that you keep battling throughout the way. More so than Alder. But...
I like Alder.
I forgot Alder exists, honestly.
But, like, Black and Black 2, I think that, like, story-wise really showed, like, where they were capable of going within a game, because it didn't feel rushed, per se. I thought it was paced really well. My complaint would be Black 2, you don't get a lot of that, like, back, like, storyline from Black until the last, like, hour.
Yeah.
Which is why I take it as 2 games, because it's like, N returns to fight Getsus again.
Yeah.
Close second, though, is Punk.
Yeah, of course. Okay, wait, so I'm looking for kind of like best narrative, best story, favorite villain, and favorite game, right?
Yeah.
So
you can call it a hodgepodge of those 3 to get like one ultra favorite, or you can split it out if you're very opinionated.
It's really hard for me to... I'm going to talk about favorite game first. It's really hard for me to get over how approachable Sword makes like 99% of the things in Pokemon. Because I think in a lot of the previous games, I was like constantly looking up like, oh, where do I find this TM? And like, where do I have to go to get this one weird item that I can do this one thing? Like, For example, when I was in Gen 6 searching for the Ampharosite on some, like, backwater bay stupid thing that I was like, I never would have even found this if I had not Googled it and, like, read someone's guide on where to go. And those kinds of things still exist in Sword, like Solar Beam is a TM hidden on a ledge that you can only go to after your bike has been upgraded to go on the water, but they smooth out a lot of the other stuff, and you get into this game where, you know, if you want to level up quickly, you can go do raids. If you want to get a bunch of TRs to try new moves on your Pokemon, you can just go to the wild area and do that, and catch some new Pokemon while you're out there, and whatever else. I mean, if you're hooked up to the internet, like, surprise trading is super easy, and you can add a bunch of new things to your Pokedex that way, and it just feels like a game where it's a lot easier to, like, jump in, try out, you know, whatever team you like with whatever moves on it that you like, and it does baby you more than a lot of the previous games, but once you get past the tutorial, I think that's, like, really makes it a much easier game to play in a way that's not, I'm not even really talking about difficulty. I mean just more like, oh yeah, just like, this is just fun. I could just keep doing this. That said, its story is nowhere near as good as my favorite, which is still Emerald, because that, like, environmental conflict thing was my favorite. Emerald, though, doesn't have a good villain. The two team leaders are basically just, like, idiots. So, as far as favorite villain, the honor lies with Gen 6. Because, yeah, Lysander's build-up is so stupid, but his plan is so cool, and the fact that he's, like, I think Gen 6 didn't, like, you know, there was some part of the story team that they forgot to contact until they were working on the last 30 minutes of the game. And then they brought him in, and they did just a magnificent job. And, like, almost nothing about the pacing of the rest of the game is good, but the last chunk, when you're past the 7th gym, is just awesome. And, yeah, that one definitely stuck with me. So there you have it. My very long-winded answer to that question.
Phenomenal. Well, now when somebody does ask you guys, which is your favorite Pokemon game, you have very actual, honest answers.
Yeah.
Now that you play more than just Sword and Shield, and a little bit of Fire Red, and a little bit of, you know, you've played a lot more now after this year.
I want to play X or Y, just so I can get the whole experience of playing a Gen 6 game.
Good idea.
Take you like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think my playtime is like 20 hours.
Those are like our second fastest. Well, so I thought that Sword and Shield were going to be the quickest to run through because of how many features they added to make it fast. But then Sirmina proved us wrong and ran Moon in like 16 hours or something.
I feel like you could definitely speed run Sword and Shield and get it done. And
yes.
You could probably do it in under 12. Maybe
yeah,
under
I was gonna say no more of that 1 hour bullshit from Gen 1, because an hour into the game, Hop was still teaching me how to fucking send out Pokemon. Seriously, I looked at the clock. I was like, I'm still in the tutorial, and it's been over an hour.
Yeah, but also you guys spent a lot of time with just like, Pam, you spent a lot of time finding and catching and getting the right Eevees, which took you like an extra hour or two.
Yeah.
And then you both were also doing plenty of raids, which also takes a little extra.
I could have trimmed my time because I had 11 rare candies left over, so I definitely didn't need to do as much raiding as I did. You know.
I feel like, just as a slight bit onto that. They really could have improved the rating system.
The raid system?
Yeah. Like, it just takes so long to do a raid.
It does.
And
well, there's like every moment, like, ooh, this happened. Ooh, this happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, oh, this person used pin missile. It hit once, twice, all the way through like 5 times, and you're like,
yeah.
And then
I've been there since the beginning.
It pivots the camera every time pin missile goes.
no, yeah, it's that part.
Yeah. It's just
Especially if it has a shield on it, and after the first hit, it does nothing, and you're like, why am I even watching this?
There's definitely a sequence of events that, like, when you break the Pokemon shield, the barrier around it, and the barrier, you'll see the move will hit, the barrier things will break, the shield will explode, it does a little animation, then it takes a chunk of damage, then its defense drops, then its special defense drops. And, like, just come on.
Yeah, that whole thing is like 30 seconds to 45 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then multiply that by, like, each time it happens, and raids are, like, 10-minute ordeals.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, how long it took you guys?
Dynamaxing is also kind of just a weird, like, things don't always work the way that you expect them to, and
Yeah,
their moves with strange powers and stuff. It's not necessarily, like, it doesn't always go 1-to-1 from, like, competitive Pokemon battles.
I was looking into that a little bit, because it's like, oh, a full-powered Dynamax, like, Max Geyser should do quadruple damage to something that's, what, like, rock ground, and it does a tiny bit of damage, and then it gets a shield, and I'm like, what?
Right.
It's because specific raid bosses apparently have thresholds where they get their shield. And if you hit that threshold, like if it's 99% of the way there and then you use a max, like a Dynamax move, it will only do that 1% to hit that next threshold. And you're like...
Which makes sense. Like, they had to build something in, I guess, so that you can't just, like, you know, have your level 100 Colossal just, like, stomping on 5-star raid bosses.
Why not?
It kind of reminds me of the substitute algorithms, is that, like, if you have a substitute that is representative of 25% of the Pokemon's health, no matter how much you do, no matter how much is left, how powerful it is, it's like, once it hits that, that's it.
The substitute goes away, and then you're still there.
Yeah. It reminds me of the mechanics behind substitute.
Yeah. I think that's true. But those mechanics are, like, not super familiar if you're used to just normal battles, so it's kind of like, oh, I have to learn this other weird system.
I feel like also getting the option to not take AI. Like, if I could have used a team of 4, or even 2, I could have double battled a lot of those and probably done better.
Yeah. I think that one... I think a lot of the rating system is really set up to be multiplayer, and it shines in multiplayer. I do love it in multiplayer. Because that is one of my favorite features about Gen 8 games.
I think, just bringing it back a little bit, you mentioned Mega Evolutions in 6, and then there's Z Crystals 7, there's Dynamaxing in 8.
Yeah.
So all of these very interesting and very different concepts. Do Z Crystals even exist past Gen 7?
I mean, I don't think so. They don't come up in Gen 8.
Nor does the ites for Mega, right?
They seem like they were very... Well, okay.
Pokemon history lesson!
The Z Crystals seem like they were very, very tied to the region. They made a very particular point about, like, here's how we do it in Alola, here's the very specifics here, the Z Crystals just represent your bond, blah, blah, blah. It's tied to the region. Now, the Mega Evolutions will have their comeback. You will see them. Peter will not get to see them.
Oh, I remember this.
Me and Cam will get
I remember this. I read about this on Twitter. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for that, actually. Yes.
It's going to be very cool. because of the fact that the Gen 3 remakes came out in 2014, right on the heels of X and Y. They kept the Gen 6 mechanics.
Yes.
Oh.
So is Mega Evolution in ORAS.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, we're gonna get to see it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, that's cool. That's gonna be interesting.
I'm very tempted in doing Omega Ruby to just do a team of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, and that's it. Kind of like shrink it down to be like very particular, because there's a handful.
That's a
There's a good handful.
That's cool.
That'd be fun. I'm toying with a way that I want to do Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
So, if you're doing Mega Evolutions, that one would go.
But also, if you would like to do it, since you also didn't have the Y exposure, or X or Y exposure, we can figure that out. But it would be a really cool thing to do, of just only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, and that's it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can Mega Evolve to all of them, right? It's not like just once, like a Z Crystal.
No, like, you can Mega Evolve... I think it's one Pokemon per battle.
Yeah, you'd have to be particular
Yes.
about who you're Mega Evolving. But,
Got it.
and only a handful are allowed to Mega Evolve.
Yeah.
Based on the...
Like Lucario.
And
Yeah. Like
Venusaur.
Lucario.
Gyarados.
And Ampharos.
And Gardevoir.
And Gardevoir.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, is that the Gardevoir, right?
Yes.
Amazing.
I guess anything that has a Mega Evolution that you can see in Go, I guess would have a Mega Evolution in the game, right? It's like Beedrill.
Oh, yeah.
Pidgeot,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm waiting on the Crustle Mega Evolution.
That would be really cool.
Sirmina, I don't know if I've told you, but I've been maining Crustle in Pokemon Unite.
I've been seeing that.
Yeah. It's
I've
fun.
been seeing that.
It's fun.
And I've been like, of course.
I'll hand out tips to any noobs in the chat who have questions about how to be great at Crustle.
It's a fantastic strategy.
Yes, there is. Let's talk Ultramoon.
Let's talk Ultramoon.
I got my revenge on the teacher school this week.
Yes!
I was training school with the teacher, because that woman was just driving me up a wall because I could not figure out... Well, I could not beat her on stream last week.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
She's so good.
One of the differences that they decided to do between Sun Moon and Ultramoon is that her team changes from just like a Magnemite and something else to whatever starter is super effective against yours.
Yep.
In the Ultras. So...
At level 10.
First big check of, oh shoot, she can KO me if I'm not careful. Which she did like 3 or 4 times last week.
Yep.
So I had to level up enough to be able to do that. But it worked.
I went through a very similar experience with the teacher. It sucks. At least I had the ability to go and catch another Pokemon.
That is true.
So, can you remind us what challenge you're doing for Ultramoon?
So I've got what is considered like the gifted Pokemon, where you're only allowed to use Pokemon that are given to you by various methods, not anything that you're catching. So starters count because they are just given to you.
Yep.
And in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, with the stickers, the totem stickers, and how you're allowed to get a specific Pokemon after you get a certain number of stickers.
Oh man, I should have collected more stickers.
Like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Who knows if I'm going to even get to like 80 or 100. But...
I think I got like 15.
Yeah. But it looks like it's every 20 you will get a new one.
Okay.
And they're all totem Pokemon. They're all totem-sized Pokemon. So I think at one point there was a comment about how gigantic my Eradicate was on screen.
Amazing.
But it's literally just because they give you totem-sized Pokemon.
Wait, did they get like a stat boost? Or just...
I think they'll still get stab boosts. Like, everybody will get stab.
No. Like, you know how the totem Pokemon come in and they get like a stat boost
Oh,
to a particular.
stats.
Yeah. Sorry. No.
They don't have the aura around them now.
This is sad.
That's okay.
So
It'll be
sad.
interesting because I'm trying to remember what the next ones are going to be because I'm very close to 40 and I'm about to get another Pokemon at 40.
Ooh. So where are you in the island challenge? I almost said
I have to
gym
take on
challenge.
Olivia.
You're what?
I have to take on Olivia next.
Oof.
So on Wednesday, I did Lana and the fire guy that I can't remember his name.
Oh, he's
And
with the
also
hiker, the fire guy
Yes.
with the hiker. Yeah.
Yes. And it's interesting because the totems have been different.
Yes,
The teams have been different.
because your first totem. Are you talking about from Moon or from?
Yeah.
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 But also from Ultrasun.
They're different from Ultrasun and they're also different from Moon. Because Lana had the wishy-washy at the very end.
Yes.
But instead, she had that stupid spider.
It's the Dewpider.
water spider.
It's the Arachidid.
Yes, that thing.
Yeah.
The Arachnid. And I just looked at it and I
So
was like, what
annoying.
the fuck is this thing?
Right, because
Yeah.
you're also going into it like I did with the grass type.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
you're like, oh yay, water type should be easy, and then out comes a bug type.
Yep. And I had Raticate on my team, and I was like, oh great, I have 2 Pokemon. Guess what Raticate is? Raticate is dark. So I had a dark type and I had a
Oh.
grass type against a bug type.
Oh wait, bug double slams dark, right?
Yep. Yep.
It does?
Yep.
Yep.
That's one of the ones I
Wow.
always forget.
Yep.
I had no idea. Wait, so what's up? I don't know the
Yeah,
bug type.
because
at
Sirmina,
all.
I had the Rowlet and a Meowth.
Yep.
Great.
Mm-hmm. That's about it. So I got really lucky with Pluck from my Dartrix onto the Aquanid.
Oh yes. Yep.
I didn't think it was going to KO it when it did.
Because that is the nice part, is you can have flying moves on Rowlet which get the stab, so you can, yeah. The whole
Yep.
battle's like an arms race. You basically just need to outspeed. Did you outspeed?
I don't think I outsped. I think I just got lucky with how much damage was and was not taken.
Yeah, because bugs are
by
fast.
both. Yeah. So I think Raticate may have outsped because the rat's fast, but definitely not Dartrix. There's no way.
Do you fight the sister from Team Skull before Olivia? So have you done that fight?
Oh, the sister from Team Skull. Sorry, I thought you meant the sister between the Ultrasun, the pair that you always run into.
No, not them.
No.
Oh, do you fight the
I
girl?
don't. I do fight the girl.
Oh, what does she have?
She's had. Fuck, what she had.
Does she have that Ultrabeast, the purple one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I called it. Its name is Poiple,
Yep.
and it's as if a 3-year-old is trying to say purple
Yeah.
because
Poiple.
it is purple, but it is saying Poiple.
Quite cool.
Yeah.
Poiple. That's what it is. So she has that thing.
I like that
But
little guy.
But
Did
yeah,
not
so I
like
have
Beast
that.
Boost. But I like
And-
that little guy.
Also, in Moon, I had the Salazzle at the Volcano Trial. But instead, in Ultra Moon, I had the Alola Marowak.
Oh, yeah. I also had an Alolan Marowak in Ultrasun.
So they changed that.
Did
Which
Alolan Marowak
was to my
exist
advantage.
in...
It did.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, they all existed in their forms, but they just changed who was the totem. So, yeah, Salazzle was the Sun and Moon totem, and I was bracing for that. But when I saw that Alolan Marowak was the totem at the Volcano Park, I was like, oh, I have Ominous Wind.
Which
I will
is-
be okay, hopefully. And a Dark type. I will be okay, hopefully.
Is it Ghost? Fire?
Ghost Fire.
Right, okay. Yeah, which is a
Well,
weird typing.
It was a nice
It's a
break.
cool type.
Yeah, Cam knows all about Ghost Fire typings.
Chandelure! Gen
So-
5, baby.
I caught a male Salandit in Ultrasun.
It's gorgeous. I love the Pokemon. It's great. That
Male Salandit can't evolve.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a male Combi.
Only female Salandits evolve into Salazzle.
So it just doesn't evolve at all? Like
It doesn't evolve. It has to be female.
You should just gone and caught a different one.
Yeah, but then I didn't. They were hard enough to find anyway. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not using you at the Pokemon League, so I'll just use you until you no longer become useful and then
oh my god.
drop you like the trash that you are.
Oh, what was Mallow's trial? Mallow's trial.
Where
Also,
you have to find the ingredients, right?
Yes, but it was done differently because in Moon and Sun and Moon, all you do is like walk around and just like click in random spots. But in Ultrasound Alternate, you have to do it in particular where it's like, here are like 4 flower bushes. Which one are you going to grab the honey from?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very particular of just like, will you grab this honey or will you grab that honey? And then depending on your choices, which if you paid attention to the dialogue, to like the words that were being said about each of the things, you could get away with not facing any Pokemon, which is what I did.
Oh, I didn't pay any attention.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I paid very close attention because I was like, I'm at my 3rd trial of the day. I'd like to just get through this.
Yeah.
I would like to not waste time with this, so I just paid attention. But,
Do you also get the Lurantis sneaking up behind you and?
Yes. Lurantis?
Or is it?
It's Lurantis and Sun.
It is Lurantis and Moon. It is the Lurantis in. I'm forgetting.
It was the big pink one. An Ultrasound.
Was it still Lurantis? It was still Lurantis. Yes, it was.
Yeah. I just love that he sneaks up behind you.
Yeah. But it was interesting because with that trial, it was of the like 6 Sudowoodo that you could grab a root from. All of them had dialogue of sorts that was just like, this one seems to be shaking, this one seems to be wrestling, and then there's one that's just like, this is the Sudowoodo, will you take something from it? And I was like, you're the only one that didn't have any kind of extra, adjectives to what's going on here. So you're probably who I should take from because you're probably not the Sudowoodo and the rest of them. Just like there's like tiny things. But that's where I'm at, is I did 3 in one night, and now I have to go and take on Olivia, which should be fine.
And that caps the 2nd island for you, yeah?
Yes.
And then you get to go to the place.
Do I still go to Aphid Paradise?
Yep.
It's the same plot, pretty much, just altered a little. There's probably a lot more Ultramarine Squad.
I can't remember. Yeah, it's got to be them. I didn't realize that they have the Aphid Paradise.
They're such a pain in the ass.
They are.
Like, they get slightly cute by the end, but definitely like half through the game, I was just like,
I'll give Nintendo credit, and or the Pokemon Company, whoever's responsible for this. Oh my goodness. I'll give them credit because they did a much better job of introducing those two very early and having them appear every now and then and starting to have a little bit better of an idea of like, they're not from this dimension, or like they're here to like examine the power levels that are over 9,000. It's just whatever's going on there. You're starting to get a sense of who they are and that they truly are like outsiders and that they're truly different compared to coming from Gen 6 where it was just kind of like nothing for hours until the end, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So they did
Gen
a better
6.
job.
You like step on a particular square in Gen 6 and it's like, hey, you're getting a call over your holocorder. Hey, I'm Lysander. I'm the bad guy. Come to my cafe in Center City and let's do this. You know how I'm destroying the world and all? And you're like, what the fuck?
So, you can tell from the beginning that these guys are just not it.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't belong.
Yeah, they do a nice job with that. Like all the little hand gestures and the weird like bobbing back and forth and Yeah, and
They're also just not using Pokemon, they're using Ultra Beast. Like,
Right.
they're cruelly different from the rest of these teams and these people in Alola.
yeah. Poipole has that signature ability Beast Boost that I think most of the Ultra Beasts have, where when they knock out an opposing Pokemon, their attack goes up.
Oh god, like a Moxie kind of a...
It's like Moxie. Yeah.
Great.
So,
Excited.
also, I think I mentioned this on a previous stream. Sorry, it just occurred to me. But I checked out the stat change that Steam Engine does. I think I've talked this through. The Colossal was getting a 250% speed boost when hit with a fire or water move.
250?
Yeah, and I double checked my stream. I had 90 speed by the end of the game, which is pathetic because I was level 100.
Not with Steam Engine.
But
Steam Engine.
if you get hit, that goes to 225. So like when Nessa hit me with a water move in her battle, I was like, okay, now I can outspeed anything you have.
Fucking Nessa.
Well, yeah, anything Nessa.
I mean, anything Nessa has.
Just throw a Ninjask against it.
Huh.
That'll outspeed.
Oh my god.
Anyway, mood point, but I thought of Ultra Beast and then I thought of stat boosts. So, you're on the second island, you have Aether Paradise coming up. You have Olivia immediately coming up. That's a decently tough battle, if I remember correctly.
Get a fighting move. Or a water move.
Yeah, let me just teach Rowlet a fighting move.
Now, I will say, I'm gonna get something else once I hit 40 stickers. So I'm gonna at least have 3 Pokemon going into it if I can get some stickers before her. I have 2 left to find.
There was one on the side of a refrigerator that you walked past at one point. And I couldn't tell if it was a sticker or not, and I was like, it looks like a sticker, but by the time that I was thinking about it, 15 seconds had passed and you were away from wherever it was, and I was like, oh, I won't. It's gone forever. But there was a sticker on inside some random house somewhere, on a fridge, shoved against a wall.
That'll be interesting to find again.
It was on the most recent stream.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's definitely the second island.
I think the difficultest thing about Olivia for me is Rock type is a tough type to go against sometimes. But I also had a very different team. If you still have a grass move on your starter,
Yep,
probably good.
I do.
I just ran into trouble because I think I had a bird and I had stupid Salazzle or Salandit.
Yeah.
So,
It's okay.
Stone Edge, Lycanroc, all that jazz.
You also...
Hmm?
I was gonna say, you also have Grassium Z.
Oh, yeah, the Grassium Z.
That is true.
You could power up
That
the
is very
Grassium.
true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember...
Normalium Z for a whatever Raticate's got going on because I don't have the dark one, and I did forget. I got an Eevee on stream this week as well. I got the egg at the ranch.
What?
And it did hatch, and now it's at level 16 or 17. It's shot up.
Oh, that's great. Because you could... I don't know
I
what...
want to make that baby a fairy type. I just need to get his friendship up.
Yeah.
For Sylveon.
And then it can carry you through...
Everything.
Basically.
But really, Komo'o.
Komoko'o.
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 Yeah, that last trial. That last
Komoko'o.
trial.
Komoko'o.
Yeah. That one I just remember being... You know, not easy peasy lemon squeezy. Difficult, difficult, lemon difficult.
Yeah, that one.
Swept right through it because I had Primarina.
Yep.
Heart Fairy.
Yep.
Run right through
No,
it.
I'm throwing like all these elemental attacks at the dragon. The dragon's just like.
Isn't it also a fighting type? It's
Yep.
a fighting dragon.
It's-
Yeah.
Yep. I think I wound up resorting to acrobatics to beat him. Which,
Solid if it's
Yep, I
heart
would've
fighting, yeah.
That's all I've been doing for like 3 generations. I only have one move.
It's such a good move.
It's such a good move.
It's the best move.
If your Pokemon has the attack stat to back it up, it's a great move.
Oh yeah, you do need that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very strong move for early to mid game at least, because you can often get it really early, and then suddenly
yeah.
you're just dunking on people with 110 power like that. Yeah.
Plus stab, plus effective bonuses.
Mhm.
Yeah. So much going on there.
Yeah. Well, that might be about it for our games this week.
I want to ask a question.
Oh, yeah, shoot.
Because at this point, we've met every team, I guess. It's like,
Run it back one more time. Every team.
so from Gen 1 onward, it was Rocket, Magma and Aqua, Galactic, Plasma, Lair, Skull, Yell.
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 Okay.
Yell. is
Favorite
so
team? Or best team? Or motive?
Yell.
Can I say my least
Yes.
I'm just throwing it out there.
the
Like,
least
how
bad
we
team?
medal.
Is there maybe we can award a least bad medal?
the least bad.
Yeah, I don't want to say best. Sirmina, what do you think to this one?
Fuck, I thought you had something lined up. Okay.
No, I want to hand it off. I don't want to answer this.
Do you mean least bad as in like they just weren't the most... They were the most harmless?
No, I actually mean, so I have a rather negative outlook on most of the teams in Pokemon who I think are most of them pretty silly. So I was kind of just saying like, well, you can say best team, but you'd actually have to go with like least bad because they all kind of suck. But maybe that's too flippant, and we should look for the best, our favorite team from the...
Oh, man.
Which can still be different from, like, team leader.
Yeah.
True. That is true.
Well, like, I feel like
gold.
I think like Cyrus is a
Yeah.
great team leader
God.
with a really shitty team.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was the point of Galactic. It's that they were supposed to just kind of be clueless about everything.
Yeah.
Just do the work.
It made for a... Yeah, and they did do some like world building with that, which was nice. But
I wish that Diamond and Pearl had more Cyrus plot.
Now I wonder
needs more
if they'll
stuff.
do that for the remakes.
That would be so cool.
Knock on wood, that they do a really good job with the Galactic remakes as well.
We will find out.
Mm-hmm.
In 2.5
Less
months.
than 3 months.
So close.
I actually pre-ordered the other day. I think I told you guys.
Excellent. Okay, I guess back to the question. This might be received very strangely, but
If
I
you
think
say Gen 2 Rocket, I'm kicking you off the project.
No, not Gen 2 Rocket.
Are you gonna say Flare?
No, I was gonna say Yell. Yes! There it is.
Why Team Yell?
Do you have a reason for saying this?
They were created with the purpose of getting back at the biggest haters in the Pokemon community. So the underlying component of their existence is not just in-game reasons, but it's also like real-world reasons that they exist in the way that they do. And also the fact that they're different. They're not there to just be bad guys to the entire world. Their biggest purpose is just, we want to celebrate our woman Marnie from our hometown, and we're going to be so obnoxious about it. We're not actually going to cause anybody any kind of harm. We just want this woman to succeed in the biggest capacity that she has, which is like, it's just different from all the rest of them. So it was done with that in mind, of just like, it's literally just for this one person who she doesn't even care about them in a sense, and like there's a whole backstory to their existence and a whole backstory to her and her brother, and there's just much more, it's just much more rooted in the region that they're coming from compared to some of the other guys that feel like they just exist there. They are just strangers or invaders to the region, or they don't really have like a tie to the region as much as like Team Yell does to their hometown and their region, and who they are behind and what their purpose is in game and out of game. My favorite part is like the out of game, like trolling the haters in the community aspect. But they're just different.
Yeah, that's true. I think that Yell does have a lot of like nice tie-ins to the game plot, particularly through Pierce and Marnie. And I think once those characters start to be more developed, it helped me appreciate Yell more as a team. Yeah, their initial introduction is just very, you're kind of like, what is even happening?
What's wrong with these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They reminded me a lot of like Team Skull, but just a ramped up version, I guess.
Yeah.
More of a purpose.
Yeah.
This Skull's a mess, dude. They just exist, and they just took over a town, and then they called it their own, and it's just like run down and awful in a different way from the way that
Spike Myth.
Spike Myth?
Spike Myth is. Yeah. In a very different way.
I wanted to talk about that because I thought that was a really cool kind of comparison between the two, because like in Sun and Moon, like Po Town is like dark and stormy and like very clearly like run down, everything's boarded up, even the inside of the Poké Center.
Yeah.
They're like,
you have to pay to get killed.
Yeah, pay us $50.
Because we need to keep it running, so you have to pay us money for it.
Yeah, because we don't have electricity otherwise.
Yeah.
It would only make sense. And then you look at something like Spike Myth, which also looks very like rundown and decrepit, but then you walk into the Poké Center and it's like Nurse Joy is there and the people are still selling their stuff, and it's not like Team Yell taking over it, like Team Skull took over the one in Po Town.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's like that would have been a cool touch. But
and its isolation is different from how Po Town's isolation is. It's like these two Team Skull guys are just sitting in the front. They're just like, no one's allowed in here because like this is our town. But like Spike Myth is literally just no one's allowed in here because we want Marnie to succeed, and like that's literally it.
Right.
We don't want anybody else to take on the challenge.
They're trying to interfere with the gym challenge by helping Marnie win, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't help her win. They just
right.
Yeah.
I guess they're interfering to help her win, because then there would be no one else. Yeah.
So Peter, your least bad team.
Okay, I'll say I can say favorite team. I think so. Team Flare is really dumb. I can't like the magnificent plot that gets revealed at the end of Gen 6 does not make Team Flare undumb. It just makes Lysander a cool villain. So that's my rationale for why I won't touch them. I think Plasma has a lot going on for them, and they definitely pull off one of the cooler stunts in the franchise, which is that whole like random castle coming up around the Pokemon League, which I still maintain is kind of stupid narratively, but is also cool. Like, okay, yeah, They did a lot. They made this work. They have a lot of really cool technology. I think we commented on that when we were going through Gen 5. Like, they can do all this stuff and hack into, you know, Pokemon servers and things, which... And they have teleporters and things like that. And, like, a lot of cool technology in them. The only other team that I think gets an honorable mention from me would be OG Rocket. Because Gen 1 Rocket was, like, actually a pretty cool, like, criminal underground, you know, force, mafia, don't know what to call it. But, like, you know, they had towns under their control. They were, like, doing all this, like, corporate takeover stuff, and, like, had these underground, you know, back of the game corner Pokemon stealing and trading enterprises. Something very, like, just raw criminal about them. Not like, you know, no great plans to overthrow stuff. Just sort of, yeah, use guys, keep your nose out of our game corner or whatever. Like, I don't know, fun. Criminal antics.
I like OG Rocket.
Yeah.
They were just bad. They already existed in some capacity compared to some other teams in other generations. Like, they already own the game corner. They already own the gym, basically.
No, they blew it. They had that whole thing set up in the basement of the game corner. Like,
what's the town that they own? Is that Saffron? No, it's not Saffron.
They have the game corner in Celadon. They have the gym in Viridian, and then they get Sylph Company in Saffron. And they also cause trouble in the Lavender Town Tower.
Yeah.
I thought that there was, like, a city where people were like, oh, like, that's where Team Rocket is.
Celadon?
Probably Celadon.
Celadon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they acknowledge that they own the game corner.
Celadon's like where you walk around and there's like rocket people sort of on patrol and things, right?
Yeah, just walking around casually. Saffron's where, like, they start blocking buildings, like, once the Silk plot.
Is it, it's Goldenrod in Gen 2 that they're, like, taking over, right?
Yeah.
Radio tower.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For the sake of crying and wanting their leader back, and that's literally it.
Yvonne, are you out there? Are you listening to us? No?
We did it! Where are you? Come back.
Come back. You're not coming
Dad?
back? Oh, okay.
Dad?
Bye. That's why Gen 2 Rocket is probably the best.
No.
They accomplished their goal, and then they won.
And then what?
That was it.
Yeah.
No.
Gen 2 Rocket is secretly just a really pointed critique of neo-Nazis, but Pokemon Twitter isn't ready for that conversation. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the worst. No matter what I feel about any of the other gens, I think that Gen 2 Rocket was the worst for me. Just no point. Didn't add to the story. Dumb.
Yeah, they did not do a great job with that.
What do you mean didn't add to the story? They were the story.
Hate crimes against slowpokes. Not so much a hate crime as just sort of immoral. What is that? Animal abuse? Animal abuse.
That was just wrong, dude.
Yeah.
They...
Yeah, that's the thing, is they like took this Gen 1 operation that was like mostly pretty slick and like well done, and they sort of turned it into this weird like, yeah, we're chopping up Pokemon. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrifying.
They're like, oh, it's not a big deal, it grows back, and like, that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Alright, anyway, good questions tonight.
Pam,
Yeah.
who is your team? Your least bad team?
Least bad team. I agree with everything that Peter said about Plasma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much going on there, and there's very clearly, like, a power structure with, like, the Sages and Getsus and N being the king. And, like, all of the grunts that kind of know what's going on, but kind of don't, and, like, the Sages also kind of know what's going on, but it's really just, like, Getsus, and they don't they actually convince people to, like, hand over their Pokemon and, like, release them?
I think
like,
so.
I think they did a
They have those big rallies.
Yeah.
And there's a sense throughout the region of the people that you talk to that, like, maybe they're right.
Maybe they are right, yeah. But, like, there was just so... I feel like they were a lot more built on than some of the other teams. I want to try and make a vote for, like, Galactic, but Team Galactic is just terrible. It's really just Cyrus.
It's Cyrus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's like, when I think Team Galactic, I think the bowl cut. The bowl cut green hair. And
Is
every
it
time I
green
saw
or blue?
it's green or blue, but every time I saw an Ace trainer from then on that had that same hair, I was like, oh my gosh, Galactic's back. And then it's just an Ace trainer.
Yeah.
So, Plasma, still. Both iterations, in black and white, and then black 2, white 2. Because in black 2, white 2, they split into old Plasma, which is good, and new Plasma, which is bad.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at them.
Yeah, that was an interesting aspect of Black 2 and White 2. Is that the traditionalists versus the modern Plasma.
Because they kept the Crusade stuff, so...
The Crusade stuff was cool.
They also, I feel like they also had one of the best intro battle music. Like, when the shield shows up and it's just like the lightning.
That, like, swing.
Yeah.
Swing looking.
Yeah. Galactic was cool. So, we've got Ultramoon for you this month. What?
Over the next, like, week.
Yeah, over the next week.
Because you'll be jumping into Leaf Green.
Leaf Green, afterwards. But presumably Ultramoon this week. Because I know that game does not end swiftly. Unfortunately. And then...
Hours of cutscenes.
Cam, you and I are not on Wednesday, but any day after that. I think we are not streaming Wednesday in line with the Twitch strike, since I think a lot of...
Are you?
What's up?
Is that carried to YouTube?
We can chat about that. But anyway, we might not have a stream on Wednesday to kick off the new games. Just heads up for that. I know all of our thousands of fans will be distressed. But Cam and I are going to be starting 2 of the remakes this month, this week, this gen. Those are going to be Fire Red and Heart Gold. We follow those... Well, Sirmina's also going to be playing Leaf Green in this next month. And we're going to follow those up with Soul Silver, played by me, in October, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Okay, wait. Cam had Alpha Sapphire and Sirmina had Omega Ruby. Okay, great. So, yeah. So we'll have all 6 of the older remakes represented throughout these next 2 months. Jury's still out on whether we'll get to play some Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu before BDSP drop on November 19th. But if we do, you'll be sure to see it here on our channel. So unless I missed anything desperate, I think that's all we got for you guys tonight. And we'll see you next week sometime in the general range of 6:30 on a day which may or may not be Sunday, and we'll we'll let you guys know how this past week of streams has been. Hey, I'm just trying to keep it real for the audience.
That's solid.
If you're able to drop in tonight, I'm sorry I've seen your comments in the chat. I apologize. I haven't gotten to flip back and forth as much as I usually do. But thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.